Into the okay. Quick intro. Should I start?
Yes, I think that sounds great.
I'll start. So I'm Julie, and I'm one of the co-founders of Rev Health. And the origin of why we created this, and we were talking about this just the other day as a team, which is every single one of us almost actually died or had pretty significant healthcare issues. I ended up with an emergency surgery, like such an emergency surgery that my insurance wasn't called, type of thing. So that's people who know the system in Boston know that that's kind of an indicator of how serious it was. And it was after I'm going to say a good 7 years ignored by doctors and told that my weight gain was because I was in perimenopause. And it turned out I actually had super high estrogen and fibroids. So that kind of made me mad. And then when I met Maddie, Maddie was the only functional health expert who was able to diagnose me properly, get to the root cause, and fix me, for lack of a better word. So that's sort of the origin there. And with that, I'll pass it to Maddie, who
Oh my gosh, amazing. I'm Maddie Cunningham. I'm an acupuncturist, herbalist, functional medicine specialist, and certified hypnotist. And historically, I've combined all these things modalities to help people heal at Rev. And my health story, like Julie mentioned, too, very close to feeling close to death. It's crazy to say, but it unfortunately was the reality for a while, experiencing a host of mystery symptoms and just kept getting progressively sicker and sicker. I mean, with a lot of these more invisible illnesses to the outside world, you look totally fine. Like I imagine, like Julie, you experienced too, and Skylar, I know you experienced that as well. But the inside, it feels like you're completely falling apart. And even with all my knowledge, I had the wherewithal that something was wrong and that I was going to figure it out, but it took a long time to get there. So ended up with some diagnoses of mold illness and chronic Lyme disease, along with a host of other viral infections that were activated. So it took a long time, but slowly was able to heal. I'm very grateful to be in a very different spot today.
Mhm. Yes. Oh my gosh. I could definitely relate a lot to your story, Maddie, unfortunately. But yeah, so Skylar Weir here, registered dietitian with Rev Health. I am the director of nutrition services here. And yeah, like Maddie kind of shared and like Julie shared, it has not always been a thriving experience for me. I actually spent the majority of my 20s just feeling like I was surviving, which is hard to look back on. I've always been a very active and dynamic individual. So when I was sidelined by these debilitating digestive issues, daily nausea, feeling like I was plugged into an electrical socket at all times, joint pain, just feeling like I had the flu 24/7, honestly, I intuitively knew there was something way off in my body and it wasn't just stress, which is what many healthcare providers were telling me. So after about 6 years of suffering and navigating the healthcare system with invasive testing, all the things, I was finally diagnosed with chronic late stage Lyme disease, multiple co-infections, multiple reactivated viral illnesses, and heavy metal toxicity. So I finally had answers for quite literally just feeling like a passenger in my own body.
this is very sad that we've all had this, but I'm sure like many of our members have had so many issues. So anyway, getting into this, the toxicity especially, which by the way, fibroids, that's one of the many potential causes, is toxins in the body. And if you think about it as a tumor, though it's a benign tumor, it's the body is creating something in order to like sort of protect itself, if you will. So yay, fibroids, or whatever's happening. But actually, yay, better to reset yourself. So it's spring. We're going to talk about the spring reset. Is only for members. We have a lot of members who've been recommending people. I love this. It's so great. Refer people. This is the time to do it. And we have been talking about how every season we'll do another reset for the season. We change our wardrobes. Ideally, we don't put away all of our winter clothes and then it starts snowing. But that's okay. We change our clothes, we change our hair, our makeup, our foods, and our diet. We change our lives and even sometimes our environment and what we do outside based on the season. And so every season, and in, Maddie can speak to this more, but 5 seasons in traditional Chinese medicine, one season,
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
birthday month.
Yes, that's right. The fifth season is this time, and people feel this really energetically. That's late summer, with the end of the summer before fall, and that's when Julie's birthday falls. So it's her special season. It's Chinese medicine has these 5 seasons, so we're going to be doing these 5 programs throughout the year to really come heal in community, of course, because it's one of our values, but also to really align with what is going on in nature, understanding that we're a part of this change, so we can adapt our health practices to match what's going on in the seasons.
So of course, you guys, I forgot to do the pamphlet. So Maddie, I'll probably if you want to bring them up while I'm doing this, and then we can switch to you as a presenter in a little bit.
Absolutely.
But I will open up, sorry, oh my gosh, now we're gonna see my chaos desktop.
No.
The way it is. Okay, so you're a member of the community. Some people I know that some people we're gonna join that are not yet members, and so yeah, you get to see what our private community looks like. It is hosted on Mighty Networks right now, and it is, we've got everything. It's very private. You can't get in unless you create an account, and then, everything on here is secure. So we created this whole section called Spring Reset. It starts on Earth Day, which is 4/22. So we've got a couple of weeks. And the reason we're talking about it now is if you are not yet a member, we really want to be able to personalize it. We need you to get your labs in. And so we ask that you become a member by 4/15. Now, anybody can become a member at any time, but if you want to participate in this program and have the personalization of your lab work, specifically the heavy metals and the environmental pollutants, and Maddie, you can talk about that, how it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, of course. The more we can personalize this, the more you'll get out of it, of course. So if we can have information about environmental pollutants and heavy metals, if this is in your protocol, we're going to be doing a lot of things in this spring reset that are supporting your detoxification organs in a really natural and healthy way. This is something that your body does really naturally. So we're just going to be doing things that emphasize that process. So getting your body in a place that it will have the capacity to even greater handle these things will be really beneficial.
And really, it's really the actual detox, I guess, part of the program is only a few weeks. So it's not, anybody who's like, well, this might be really intimidating. Don't worry, we set it up specifically so that it's like little bite-sized things. And anything that you can do is better than nothing. When I used to teach aerobics, I used to say this all the time, like, okay, you can't work, you don't have an hour to carve out, that's okay. Do something, right? You can go to the gym for 5 minutes. Most of the time, you're gonna actually get excited when you're in there and want to do a little bit more. So how it works is right now, everybody who's a member can see this overview. It's live and you can see it. You can just check it out. And I see some of you already joined the space, I guess, as you will. So how it works is every single week, starting on Earth Day, we're going to have a Zoom at 7 p.m. It's Tuesdays. I should write that. So I'll write that down like every Tuesday from 4/22 until the Tuesday after Memorial Day, which is the 27th of May. Honestly, in that time frame, you're going to see and feel a difference, no matter what's going on. And again, it's baby steps, right? So if you're a member and we know that we're dealing with some stuff, then we're going to personalize this for you. So sometimes we won't call you out on the, but we'll send you HIPAA compliant messages before. But so every week we're going to unlock each lesson just before the Zoom. That's automatic in this thing. We're going to post recipes, tips. We're going to have encouragement, and I'm going to show you how to sort of navigate. And Mighty Networks is, there's a lot of stuff on the community in general. And so sometimes it's hard to navigate. There's ways to filter, and there's all sorts of stuff. I'm still learning, but you can see there's sort of a table of contents, which is our weekly overview, and then events tab. So every single week from the 22nd till the 27th of May, you're going to see this and you can view the event, and we'll also remind you on the community how to get in there. So every single week, these are already set up. You can join them or not. And then there's a chat. And so a couple of people have already been chatting. And the way that the chat works is, unfortunately, it's not super, you can't really reply to people. So we created a page where you can do a little bit more. So I was testing it out. You can add videos, pictures, and even as a member, you can do a lot of things. So if you write something in your journal and you want to share it, go for it. If you have a picture of a beautiful meal or like some nice detox tea, or if you made a shrub, take a picture, put it on the community. I think it will be really fun. And then you can check out other members on the members tab. And you don't have to join the space. It's free and accessible to anybody who is a member. So that's how it's going to kind of work. And if I stop sharing, maybe Maddie can go and look at sort of one of the handouts, not to put you on the spot,
No, it's perfect. I have it up.
but I'm going to put you on the spot.
It is all good. No worries.
It's going to go. Okay, so Maddie is going to share this.
So I'm going to share an example of, we created workbooks for each week. So this is our week 1 workbook. So you're going to be getting handouts that go along with each week. So for whatever reason you can't attend the Zoom meeting that week, they are going to be recorded, so you can watch it afterwards. But you will have a handout as well to follow along and understand what exactly you're going to be doing that week and what the guidance is going to be like. So this is an example of our week 1, getting familiar with detoxification. We're going to go through some reset preparation, going through different organ systems, kind of checking in and seeing what's going on in your body. Reminders to complete your labs. We'll tell you many times if you're a new member, if you're a member who already completed their labs, don't sweat it. We'll identify health goals, set intentions. So you're going to have handouts for each week that go over whatever the topic of that week is. Some of these are going to be interactive exercises, like journaling exercises, that will have you be able to tap into what your own goals are for this week, help you get connected to your own body. And a lot of it's educational too. So if you're wanting to learn how to clean up your tap water, if that's something you've been really curious about, or how to grocery shop, there's a lot of handouts on here too. And we're going to be referencing in those as well a lot of the more in-depth courses that are on the community already. So you'll have the handout version and a more in-depth version too of the courses that we have already on Mighty Networks.
Yeah, one of my favorites is the how to grocery shop and meal planning and prepping, which honestly, I don't know why I ignored it for the majority of my adulthood, but it's so helpful to actually have a plan and say, here's the foods I need, and like think about the meals that you're going to prepare in the week advance and stuff like that. And then of course it's spring, or going to be spring, depending on where so a lot of our members are in California, and I'm very jealous of it right now. But in Boston, in the area right now, it's like, but it is going to be nice enough to start hiking again, for people who don't love to be outside when it's freezing cold. So we're really embracing the season where we can be one with nature and the environment. And again, every single week, 5 weeks, and then there's an epilogue, so the 6th week where we can all celebrate and do, have some shrubs together and join at 7 p.m. But what it is don't sweat it if 1 week you can't show up, or 1 week you're like, forget it, or there's a birthday party or graduation or something, and you want a glass of champagne and you're off the detox. I think for us, it's to remember you can't boil the ocean. You got to try to do what you can. I know better, but every single night I doom scroll. So can I try for 1 week to not do that? Or even a day or 3 days? And we can talk about habits. How do you create and form a habit? Most of the time, it's really 3 days of doing something. And that includes things like addictions. But what happens is we get wrapped up, and it's part of our identity or who we are. And then we fall off the wagon with whatever it is. Oh, I had sugar today, so now it's done. No, get right back on it. That's okay. And so we'll help and support you through this program of just, it's 5 weeks and you have a couple of weeks to prepare. Not that I would recommend that you go out and eat a lot of cookies and drink a lot in the next 2 weeks, but you have some time before it starts.
Yes, to mentally digest for the process. So it'll be great. And we'll be here to help you.
I think that was it, right? I knew it was going to be short and sweet.
Yeah, that was it. That was perfect.
But I definitely want to leave. We had questions coming in for people that couldn't make it, but I want to leave room for I want the people who are here ask questions. You can always chat or just, ask a question. We all shy. One question I got, which I think we covered, is do you have to be a member to be in it? And the answer is yes. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And the biggest reason right now is that, we are medically regulated, and I want, people being able to come through and signing our terms of use and all of that. But the other thing is just the the personalization. So that goes into question number 2, Maddie, which was, which protocol can you sign up for, and do they all work? And there, yes, but we have a suggestion.
Yes, you can sign up for any of them, all 3 of our protocols, and you can be included in the Spring Reset program. So Prologue Foundation Longevity. Prologue is our introductory blood work protocol. You can add-on test that protocol if you want. So salivary cortisol testing, heavy metal testing, mold testing, to that introductory blood work plan if you want. Foundation is our 6-month plan for menstruating women specifically, where we go into heavy metal testing, salivary cortisol testing, and environmental pollutants testing along with our blood work. It's amazing, super comprehensive 6-month container. And longevity is our biological age and methylation pattern testing, where we go into not only your biological age and the science behind that, but also sense of purpose and fulfillment in life, lifestyle planning as well. So whatever protocol is resonating most with you, if you have a question, which one would be most beneficial to you, book a discovery call and we'll help you narrow it down.
So I was going to open up, actually, since we have some time, I was going to open up my cortisol test results.
Oh, bold, nice.
I know. And I don't know why I can't find them. They're somewhere.
If you can't, I can pull them up while we get to another question.
You want to pull them up, actually?
I can. If we want to get to another one, I'll kind of pull them up in the meantime.
So basically the labs, what labs would cover detox, and what labs would specifically point to detoxification?
So our introductory blood work protocol, the Prologue protocol, would be great. Environmental pollutants is going to give you a really nice overview about what chemicals you're exposed to on a day-to-day basis, like parabens, phthalates, things that are in our personal care products, our cleaning products, our candles, things like that. I love that test because you can make such a big difference in such a short amount of time, just knowing what your everyday exposures are. Heavy metals is going to tell you more of a longer term picture of exposure, the toxic heavy metals that accumulate in the body. So this is more of a longer term picture of some other toxins that you're exposed to. But your blood work is also going to tell you a lot. How's your immune system functioning, which can give you an idea of what your total toxin load is, what your inflammatory markers are. If you are nutrient deficient, especially in B vitamins or zinc, toxins tend to really, it's kind of a vicious cycle. They'll lower nutrient availability because the body's constantly fighting. So there's indirect ways to look at it too. So our panels, they're pretty comprehensive.
And I think, I mean, and then we had questions just in general about how things operate. And somebody today who I talked to who was like, can I just, get a food sensitivity or a stool test? And we don't operate like that. The way that we're doing it is because it's based within traditional Chinese medicine, functional medicine, everything's integrated. Everything is integrated. So we want to look at the full picture in order to really tell. An example I can give, which is the company I invested in, which is a functional health company and no longer an investor of, but they are, they're great in a lot of ways. They use AI and bots to do things, but they were only looking at one part of my test results. And I had high cholesterol and high LDL. And so the immediate reaction was, oh, well, you need to start working out. So anybody who knows me knows that I didn't take that very well. You need to start working out and you need to stop eating meat. And I was like, well, I've been a vegetarian since I was 12 and I work out every single day. So I'm not really sure that's the issue. But I didn't have anybody to talk to because it was all AI. So I couldn't really argue that back. And that's what led me to go to Maddie, who was like, actually, so if you have that cortisol test,
I do. I can share it right now.
yeah, let's share it. This was really what the problem was. So well, every time I look at this, it's just so ridiculously bad.
High.
Hi, guys. So anybody who's gotten these tests, when you get yours back and you look at it, you're going to be like, whoa. Not that we're comparing to anybody, but this is like incredibly, like, where should it be? It should be in the green, right? Or lower.
Yeah, it should be in the green. And what this, in terms of a detoxification picture, we think about like, oh, stress, I feel stressed, and stress is something that's been so normalized, but stress has a really dramatic impact on our physiology. It really impacts our vagus nerve, which innervates almost all of our digestive processes. And if we're not digesting well, we're not absorbing nutrients well. It also, our liver gets really impacted and bile flow by stress response. So even by looking at a salivary cortisol test, we start to see how people's bodies begin to suffer a little bit.
And also just somebody with this type of high cortisol is going to react, it's sort of almost in fight or flight mode a lot, right? So working on things like, meditation, which has always been really difficult for me personally. So this kind of stuff is going to help because part of the spring reset is to really feel in balance with the season and with yourself. So this is just one example of, the 107 biomarkers that I had run and I personally do like pretty regularly. But if you are doing the Prologue protocol, this particular test isn't included. You would have to add on the detox de-stress, which is a nice add-on. And then you get the salivary cortisol, as well as the heavy metals and the pollutants. So that's the one, but you don't have to have that. I mean, even like, the basic blood, like CBC that you're looking on and the nutrients is going to say a lot. And then some people have asked about food sensitivity tests and stool samples, and we have those available for our members if Maddie and Skylar think it makes sense in our medical team. Because it doesn't. A lot of people want to add these things on because it's like everyone talks about it, but it might not be appropriate for you.
Yeah, of course. We won't ever recommend something just for the sake of recommending it. I've had people ask, and often it will point them in a different direction if I don't think it's necessary or we can make a difference elsewhere. So we'll be really honest with you.
Thanks for bringing up my cortisol level.
Anytime.
When I used to work, way back when at Johnson & Johnson, everyone took like the Myers-Briggs test before you went into a meeting, so you would know somebody's personality type. I think people should take cortisol tests and be like, okay, how's somebody going to react today?
Yes, that would be a good indicator.
Right, good indicator. All right, any other questions? I don't have anything else that came in for me.
Heather, did you have a question?
Yeah, hey guys. So I'm just curious now, Julie, did you retest your cortisol?
Not
At
yet.
like okay. Um and yeah, the mold stuff, like what like are symptoms of that? I'm just curious. I mean, I have friends that were exposed to it before and they like had some really bad symptoms, but yeah, I'm just curious because I know you guys have that as an add-on now.
Yeah, we do have it as an add-on now. What I typically have people do is take this online eye exam really quickly as a screening tool just to see if mold is impacting their health picture. But in general, signs of mold toxicity can be really vague. The most common symptoms are really rapid weight gain, skin issues like acne, psoriasis, eczema, or hives, especially. Sense of brain fog and fatigue is huge because it's so toxic to the mitochondria of cells. So your energy production goes really low. Really normal to see people with blood sugar crashes and having a really difficult time going more than like 2 hours between meals. And pain, but specifically ice prick pain. Like it feels like there's the end of an ice prick that's hitting a point on someone's body. And another really weird symptom is this reverberating feeling that goes up and down the spine. That's really hallmark of mold as well.
Terrible.
Okay.
But you can see some biomarkers too that would indicate, like, if somebody's running a basic lab or any labs, I've seen Maddie come back and be like, you know what, based off of this profile, I'm going to recommend you do that eye test, which is like $15
Yeah.
before add on the big mold test.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking at white blood cell markers, if they're chronically low, that makes a lot of sense. If people have difficulties with B vitamins, looking at the size of their red blood cells, homocysteine and inflammation marker, if that's elevated, people typically don't methylate well, which makes them more susceptible to things like mold toxicity. So you can see definitely clues on our blood work panel.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then for cortisol and stuff, Heather, for that too, what's interesting is I will probably retest in 3 months, and I'm going to retest when I'm in a place that that's just on a personal level, get me on the beach and the ocean for a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't retest it too often. I mean, we've all heard of like, Brian Johnson or wherever you like, or even my ex, they test every single month for all these labs, but you're not even going to be able to optimize something in that amount of time. Right. So the body is going to take some time. Like, for example, if your stress levels are that high, which they are, I need to do so much work on a level of like, getting my system in balance and sleeping more and really eating healthily and trying to hike in the woods and having my time in nature and doing things like this reset program is going to be awesome for me. So I would say even like if I wanted to retest like on May 27th or maybe I retest, how long did these guys take a while to get in the salivary cortisol, right? Maybe I'll retest it like May 13th and we'll try to get it in and we'll show the new
Oh, it's a celebration at the end.
definitely, I know by like June or July. So the thing is that I love about all this stuff is that most of the time you can fix things, you can optimize it. So we do have people, that was one question, but it wasn't related to this specifically, is why should I even test? Because if something bad shows up, what am I going to do about it? And a lot. You know, you can't change your genes, but you can change the expression of them. It's called epigenetics. And so, you know, Dr. Mark Hyman was good at talking about this, of you can sort of turn them on and off. And that's pretty important. And that's what we're talking about here. So even with the methylation, you can increase your ability to do that. So obviously my cortisol levels were so high, it actually impacted my longevity and my age. So I had been tracking at like 35, 36, and then the latest result showed up 40. I don't know. What was it? 42? Was it 45?
42.
42. That's okay. I'm 51. So it's still okay, but it was tracking in a way that was making me not happy. And so, but I can fix it. I can optimize it. I can work on this in a lot of ways. But if you know, you can. And if you don't and you continue on the path, there you can get to a point where maybe you can't actually fix it or optimize it. So anybody who's thinking about coming on, I know you guys have friends and stuff that want to do it. Like I love doing this stuff in community. It's fun to talk about. You know, not everyone wants to share all their personal stuff, but like sometimes it's nice to hear stories of people who are struggling or really excited about their journey or feeling better. Exercises we'll talk about for like, you know, the lymphatic drainage. People love their trampolines. You can also jump rope or just jump up and down. What did we do the other day, yesterday? It was like last week, Maddie and I were on a call and I was like, jump up and down.
Oh yeah, I know. Julie makes me get up and do jumping jacks actually a lot.
Sometimes that kind of thing can change your whole day. You don't even, like people don't even
No,
know.
I always feel better afterwards. It always helps.
Yeah. Unless it's not in your physiology. And the caveat being, it might not be right for your body. But we'll let you know. That's why we need the labs too. No blanket recommendations in general for like really, you know, I don't like to specifically, even when we talk through everything, we will know if people have like a flag that will be like, hey, this is
Yeah.
what I not want to do.
Heather, did you have any other questions?
Oh, was that one I know you said like the scrolling thing. Is that one of the things in the agenda for the challenge is, you know, go a few days without scrolling? Because that would be great for me.
Oh, we all need it.
I feel like it's needed.
I think it is. We had that in the September reset as well.
Yeah, we
So
did.
had like a September challenge, and yeah, to go 3 days with this and to try to improve our sleep, and
Yeah.
that's in week 3. You got time to try to do even one day. I think
Yeah, no, I need to do it.
We'll address it though. We have like some pretty cool mindfulness practices in here too, for the 5 weeks, and that will be on there.
And then we do have the weekly meditation on Sunday. We're going to talk about whether or not that needs to change days because we've got some new, that was set when we were only in Massachusetts. And now that we're in the West Coast too, it's not working for some people, but we can talk about that. But it's always recorded. So if you can't go on live, anybody who knows Maddie's warm pool of honey.
Meditations. Yeah, we do some pretty cool like relaxation techniques on there. And they all kind of like meld together and build on each other. So if you're ever feeling really stressed or activated, they're on there. So feel free to just pick one that kind of stands out to you. And yeah, we'll have them on Sundays and we'll let you know if the date and time changes.
Good.
Amazing.
Happy Tuesday.
Oh, it's spring reset. I'm so excited.
Oh, is there somewhere I can do that $15 mold test to like screening test?
I'll send it to you, Heather.
Okay, thanks.
No problem.
Awesome.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. We're really excited to start this with you. Again, if you have any friends who want to join you, feel free to refer them. And yeah, we'll be happy to have them join the Spring Reset.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, it's just us.
Let me stop recording. Stop recording. That was